What's good, y'all? Another video. Okay. Today I want to give y'all some downloads, some things I found out. Okay. Intuitively, asking questions, getting answers, deep diving a little bit, and ultimately using my intuition to get answers. Okay. Because at a certain point, you stop seeking. Okay. You're a magnet. So you just attract what you think. And when you start thinking about stuff, information just starts popping up. All right. I don't know if that's how it works for all of y'all. That's how it works for me. I'm sure some other people, but that's just how it works for me. Okay. So I want to get in a little bit into how mud floods happen. Okay. And in order to talk about mud floods, I have to briefly mention Tartaria. I'm sure most people are already familiar with the Tartaria theory, which is, if you want to talk about Tartaria was really Russia, okay? And that goes back to their flags and stuff, where you see they got freaking dragons and stuff. That goes back to the councils of the dragon, okay, the bloodlines of the dragon, all that stuff, okay? And that has to do with the vampires and the other stuff I was talking about. And the second part of that video, I deleted it, so I didn't really get too deep into the whole subject. I did, but it didn't really come out. I'll touch on those subjects again, right? But what they call Tartaria now, the theory, is basically these cultures that were advanced, more advanced than the common narrative gives to us. And these cultures, right, they had, all types of technology, they was doing shit different than how they're saying. It wasn't horse and buggy carriages and all that stuff, right? So they didn't call themselves Tartarians and none of that, okay? And this is in a bunch of places around the whole earth, okay? So there's a bunch of cultures that call themselves one thing. But that's just a term people use, okay? So when they're talking about Tartaria, there's a place, and then there's this story or events of these cultures that were more advanced, that eventually people mud flooded and then built over these civilizations, okay? So when you look under Chicago and New York and a lot of these freaking places, like under the pyramids, right, which is something I called, but even deeper than that, right? You could look at the rainforest, right, the Amazon rainforest. That's all freaking a whole city under there, right? And then there's cities under that city, okay? Because those are built over cities, okay? All the pyramids and the structures and shit like that, okay? And then a lot of people buried those structures, okay? In what we would call now mud floods, okay? So that's what we're calling it, because that's how they did a lot of these things, okay? So what is a mud flood? Okay. In a lot of places, they build things called dams, okay? And what these dams do are many things, because humans, we harness power from the water, okay? And so do these beings, but I'm going to say humans for now. Humans, right? So not only is water power, okay, water could be used to attack people and stuff, okay? And water is also conscious, okay? Because when we're talking about water, we're talking about consciousness. All right? It's one of the many things that's alive. All the elements are alive, okay? Water, air, fire, they all have voices, okay? Even if they don't talk English, okay? They all have voices, they all talk, they all speak, okay? They all have spirits, okay? No two water droplets are the same. No two fucking fires are the same, okay? No two fucking winds are the same, okay? These are all beings. They're all alive, okay? And they have spirits and essences, okay? So that's when you say the spirit of the water, the spirit of the wind, okay? They have many spirits, but remember, over souls and stuff, okay? So there are the spirit of the water, spirit of the wind, shit like that, okay? They was right, all right? Stick to that. Dams, okay? In Egypt, that dam, that's where the Nile River, all right? That's covering up lots of motherfucking shit. Pyramids, structures, all types of shit. Cities, all of that. They hid that. They hide shit under these waters, under these bodies. Okay? Under these bodies of water, a lot of them, because You could straight up read the fucking what's that called? The Gilgamesh story, right? The Epic of Gilgamesh. They made the Tigris and Euphrates River, right? And remember, they found Gilgamesh's body over there, right? Because that shit's drying up. Because that shit wasn't even natural to begin with. Okay? And they've done that to a lot of the motherfucking land all over the place. Okay? Like the dams in Turkey. Right? The Hoover Dam. Alright, y'all. Listen. When we talk about Tartarian shit like that, there was already train systems around this country. So the whole shit that people came and built a train, the Irish, the Chinese, no. Okay. And this country already had like a fucking vibe to it, the way they built around it. Okay. And it was very fucking beautiful. Okay. And you could look up the ecosystem before the Hoover Dam and shit like that. Okay. They do this shit on purpose. And they hide a lot of motherfucking history and shit with these bodies of water. Okay. That's why there's astrology at the fucking Hoover Dam. Okay, and I'm willing to bet that the fucking dates on that shit matches up to motherfucking when an event's gonna happen with that shit, when they're gonna let that shit loose. Alright? Because that's how they mudflood shit with motherfucking dams and shit. Alright, they control the bodies of water. Alright, because they use water as a weapon. Right now, scientists are talking about, like, putting technology in, like, all the bodies of water so that they could fucking basically weaponize that shit against us. Okay? Because our body has mad water. Not just liquid, okay? We're made of gases and crystallines and all types of shit, okay? So, controlling the water is how they control us. And they do it through different ways, right? Through different frequencies. It could be fucking electromagnetic, as they would call it now in science. It could be through sound frequencies, like cymatics and shit like that. Okay? There's a lot of fucking autonomous weapons that they have. And a lot of them work different ways. Okay? And one of the ways they want to control it is water. Because water is so fucking abundant on this planet, which they're not talking about. Okay? And something really doesn't want me to get this out because my shit's itching. But there's a lot more water than they're talking about. Yo, nothing gonna stop me from talking about this. You ever heard of a natural resource? It's called a natural resource for a reason. Okay? That shit is unlimited. Hear me, folks. The earth is alive. It's a being that's alive. Your body is a self-healing machine. Okay?